Hello and welcome to Not So Awesome Review, and today we're looking at the Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the official movie prequel comic book, and this is by IDW, has a few different artists and the same writer throughout, if I am correct. So a few things actually before I get into this. I used to do comic book reviews, that's how this channel actually started, so that's why I kind of felt like, yeah, why not take a look at this, because I was interested. Number two, I will have spoilers. There's going to be a lot of spoilers because this book is more of an anthology of a few different stories. I believe it's 4 or 5. Let me think. 5 stories. So there is that. Before I get into the spoilers, I'll just say right now that art-wise, it's mixed throughout the book, but for the main stories that I enjoyed, the art was good all the way through. For the 2 I didn't like, they were decent enough, but just not as good as the other ones. Story-wise, they're just little snippets of things going on, and they are kind of alluding into the movie. Aside from the first story where it's more of just going into the next story, it's a little bit weird. I can't really say too much without making spoilers, but the writing is good. Characters like Sonic sound like Sonic. The writer did a great job of emulating how he is written in the movie. And I can't really say much about any of the other characters without, again, spoiling. Which is why this is going to be a spoiler review. But for anybody who just wants to know, is it worth reading? Yeah. Is it required reading? No. You don't need to read this before watching the movie. Does it add to it? I mean, kind of, but at the same time, not really. You're fine without reading this. So, with that, let's just get on to the review. So first thing I do want to note is that this book is $6.99, which for a comic book, a little bit up there, especially since it's a regular stapled version. It's not a pristine version. That being, prestige, for people who don't know, is like a glued paperback almost, but it's not actually a paperback. It just has a spine on the side so that it looks a little bit more premium. This is just a regular stapled comic book, $6.99. Kind of expensive, in my opinion. We do get a good amount of story, but I don't know, I feel like $1 less and I would be, you know, praising it for what it is instead of being like, yeah, that seems a little much. But anyways, here we have the cover with Sonic on there. He looks good, looks great. The back of it does have an ad for the comic book and the movie, which that's a pretty cool variant cover for the comic book right there. I don't know if this is actually for a trade paperback. This collects Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 13, 34, 35. So I'm assuming that's paperback, $7.99. Yeah, so 96 pages. Really not much else to say here other than let's just get into it. So like I said, the book is completely written by the same person here, Kyle Feige? I don't want to say Feige because that's the Marvel dude. But yeah, it's his name's right there. I can't pronounce his last name. Pretty sure the first one is pronounced Kyle. You can see that we do get art mostly different. We get a couple of from Evan Stanley, but the rest, Adam Bryce Thomas, Tracy Yardley, and Tracy Yardley again. So it's mix and match, which is funny because the art I didn't like is right there and right there. So I guess it's consistent in the term that, okay, I'm not happy with that art as much. But yeah, a few things here is that we get Hedgehog Day Afternoon, which is the first story in this little anthology, which follows Sonic and separately has Tom and Wade kind of in their own separate adventures that lead into one, but they don't really interact with each other. We get a small snippet of Sonic being Sonic in the beginning, kind of going around town in the way he was in the movie, but a little bit less cautious, but still cautious so people don't know that he's there, because apparently people don't actually believe he exists. Some people do, some people don't. So it's a little bit mixed match in that regard. But we do get some cool scenes of him kind of making some snowmen. I love the panel up on the right over here, where it's like a dead snowman, a two-headed snowman, and a shocked snowman, and it's just like really crazy. He's talking to a donut at one point. Then he gets the news that there's a bank robbery going on in the same city that Tom and Wade are, which being off-duty sheriffs, they for some reason answer the call to go help. So Sonic makes his way over there and ends up encountering the villains and going through some different superhero names. He hasn't came up with his identity yet. He wants to test out a few, and they're not great, but it's not meant to be great. They're meant to be funny, and it's good. Overall, the story is pretty good. It does have a pretty satisfying ending with Sonic basically saving the day, as you would expect. And honestly, I feel like they could have made this into a series leading up since last year to now, since they announced the second movie of Sonic just going around doing random deeds like this. Kind of reminds me of Sonic X in a way, where he just kind of goes around, saves the day. Of course, in the show, he usually saves the day from Robotnik, but it still would have been cool to have kind of this little anthology series leading up to the movie where he's just doing his own thing. We can kind of get a little bit more from him. Maybe it's something they'll do in the future. after Sonic 2, who knows. But overall, the Sonic story was actually really good. Again, the art style I think is really nice. The faces on Sonic, I think they did a great job capturing the look on, just the art and everything. Great expressions, love it. Even the people look good. The art on the people look decent enough to me. Like I said, the art, good, love it. Some of these panels really, really like. And yeah, anyways, moving on to the next story. We have The Secret of My Distress, which is one of the artists that I wasn't a big fan of. It's not bad art, it felt really dark and not great. Every single panel is shaded in a shade of brown, even over here with the sand and everything. I get that he's at a coffee house, but yeah, this one follows Ancient Stone and kind of what happened after Robotnik left, and he's reading, or not, he's not even reading it. Robotnik is narrating a manifesto in black over here, which adds to the darkness of this whole entire story, where he's just going over different things. It really wasn't that interesting, if I'm being completely honest. The story with Stone is pretty interesting. We see him get a job at a cafe, we see the boss is kind of a jerk, we see some of the employees are kind of jerks, and it does have a satisfying ending. It's not really anything to write home about, but it is pretty good if you are interested in the character. Though I know a lot of people who watch the movie aren't big fans of the human characters, but it is what it is. It's just a backstory of how he ends up in that cafe, which I believe we see in the trailers. Next up, the most exciting one that I didn't even know was going to be part of this is we do get a story for Knuckles. It's short, but simple. He has his own narration where he's talking about how he's the last echidna, which is something we didn't know prior to this. Or at least in the movie verse, we didn't know it was prior to this. He's the last echidna. He's looking for Sonic, so we know he's looking for him. For what, we still don't really actually know. It's not really told here, but he does get captured at one point and has to fight this giant crab monster thing, which he pretty much beats really easily. And that pretty much showcases how strong Knuckles is, giving us like a sense of he's definitely a powerful character. He took out this giant alien thing. The cool thing about it is that it alludes to him being in the casino zone, because there is gambling and stuff like that going on, which is awesome. A nice little throwback to the game right there. And he does go on after this, hiring some people to help track down Sonic. Next up, we have story 2 for The Road, which is a Tails-centric story, which it's probably my favorite one just because of all the different zones he goes through to find Sonic. And it's just interesting in that regard. We could see a lot of stages from Sonic 1, which is awesome, and I really like the Easter eggs, and the art in it is really good. It makes me wish that we could have seen more of that. If this had been a full-blown own issue of Tails going through these different zones, exploring them just a little bit more, getting us a little bit more art so we can see them, I think it would have been such a good comic book. Aside from that, it is just Tails tracking Sonic. Again, for what reason, we don't know. I don't even... from what we've seen in the trailer, Tails meets Sonic for the first time, so it's pretty interesting that he knows all this information about Sonic and is looking for him, but they haven't actually met. So, really interested to see where that story develops in the movie. Otherwise, that's probably my favorite one in the comic book. And lastly, we have Mushroom with a View, which is Robotnik eating mushrooms, picking mushrooms, and then being attacked by mushrooms, and then fighting off the mushrooms. It's from the same artist who did the Stone one, and it's alright. It's honestly, I don't know, it's just weird. The mushrooms, they kind of allude that they're drugs. So, there is that. I guess it is a Mushroom Hill Zone, which is cool. We saw that at the end of the first movie, but seeing it in the art made me realize, yeah, that's Mushroom Hill Zone, which is cool, I guess. But aside from that, it doesn't add anything. It doesn't show how he's getting technology or anything to actually make it out of there. So, yeah, it's a little bit of an odd story to throw in there. It doesn't really add to anything overall, whereas the Sonic one and all the other ones kind of did. So, at the back here, we do have a picture of the cover again, and then some just ads. Not a big deal if anything else. But overall, yeah, it's a pretty good comic book. Everything but the Robotnik story really does add just a little bit more context to what's been going on in the Sonic 2 or in the Sonic movie universe. So it is worth reading if you're a fan, if you want to just kind of explore a little bit more story. Definitely pick it up. You do not need to read it before the movie, though. That's the only thing I will say. You can read it afterwards or whenever. If you don't know where to get a comic book because maybe it's your first time getting into them. I know Sonic comic books are big, but if you for some reason don't know, maybe you're just getting into it because of the movie, definitely look up just comic books on Google. You might be able to find a local shop near you. If not, check out mycomicshop.com, Texas-based comic book retailer, which I've bought from them before. They do a great job packaging and charge, I think, like another 10 cents or 25 cents or something if you want the comic book bag and boarded, which my shop already does, so have that right there. Or you can order from midtowncomics.com, New York-based one of the biggest comic book retailers in America, from what I know. One of the most popular ones, definitely, for sure. And if not, if you are in the UK, Forbidden Planet, I believe, is your thing. Anywhere else in the world, I don't know, sorry, but I'm sure you can find one just by searching on Google. And there's always eBay, but again, try not to overpay, because $7 is already expensive. I feel like $6 would have been nice, like a $5.99 price point instead of a $6.99. And even then, $4.99 is where I would have been like, yeah, that's what I want to pay. I'm more used to paying $3.99 for comic books, $3 to $2.99. That's a regular price. I get that we get a little bit extra with this, but it's not so much extra that I feel like it justifies the price. But it's something cool to have, and yeah, really nothing else to say here other than I do kind of hope they continue with doing little mini comics for not video game Sonic, for movie Sonic, so that we have a way to kind of keep up with his continuity. That would be cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I was going to do a review or a tutorial on how to paint this guy to make him look different. This is the one I painted in that video, but the video ended up being like 44 minutes, and it's just so much talking, and I don't like it. So if anyone actually wants to see it, let me know, but I don't know. I'll see if I can cut it down even more, but I didn't upload it because of that reason, so we're doing this instead, and some other stuff hopefully soon, waiting on Amazon for delivery right now. And yeah, that's pretty much my day. So anyways, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. We'll see you all later. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.